Morning everybody, my name's Neil and I'm here to teach you today a little bit about understanding the equipment that's used in falconry. A little bit of housekeeping before we go any further. If there was a fire here, then it's going to affect you two and me. Unfortunately, if you have a fire in the room that you're in, there's very little I can do about it. But I'm sure you'll be aware of your own exits. But if we do have a fire here, then it's straight down the stairs and onto the green in the middle. Toilets, I think you're both aware of. If there is any first aid, I'm a qualified first aider. I do know Ben, and I know Ben is as well. And if there's any questions, any queries that you've got throughout this, then please just stop me and ask at any time, anything you don't understand. So if I can just ask you to introduce yourself, that would be great. Let me start here.
My name's Ben.
Hi Ben. Have you come far today?
About 3 hours.
So you've come a little way.
Yeah,
that's great. And
my name is Isabella.
Isabella.
Yeah.
And what brings you here today, Isabella?
I'm doing work experience.
So your work experience actually here today. Oh, that's great. So is this a field that you're looking to be in?
Yeah, it's like a work placement thing.
Okay, brilliant. And on the Skype?
My name's Angie.
And Angie, sorry, was that?
Yes. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So Angie, whereabouts in the country are you, Angie?
I'm actually in Kent.
You're in Kent. Great. Brilliant. Well, what I'm going to try and do is go through the understanding of falconry equipment, and then I've got a little feedback form that I've got here, which you can look at throughout and fill it in as you go along. That's absolutely fine. Can I ask you, before we go any further, Angie, do you have any experience with falcons? Have you held falcons? Do you own falcons? Do you know anything about falcons? Nothing at all. Completely green. Isabella, have you ever held a falcon? Do you know anything about them at all? No?
No.
Okay, and Ben?
I've been flying birds for about 12 years.
So Ben's an experienced falconer. I do know Ben, and I do know he's an experienced falconer. So I think Angie, have you got one of these?
Yes, I have.
Brilliant. So if you'd like to fill that in as I'm going through the equipment, that's great. Ben, do you mind if you don't do that, but I ask you questions while we're going along?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's great. And Isabella, if I can give you one of those, have you got a pen?
I don't have a
Excellent, that's great. Well, this is George, and George is I'll turn him around so you can see him. George is a 6-year-old peregrine falcon, and peregrine falcons are fantastic birds. They're the fastest creature on the planet, more than capable of speeds of over 200 miles an hour. And they really are one of nature's greatest predators, and they're uniquely designed for speed. He's got long, tapered, pointed wings, feet which grasp hold of his prey. He's just saying hello, look. He's got a hooked beak which catches his prey, which dispatches his prey once he's caught it. He's a bird-catching bird. And these are the pinnacle of falconry. So falconry is a hobby that's carried out by various people, and a very popular hobby. Lots and lots of people are doing it. And you go through various stages of learning, and you would start with something like a Harris hawk, and then move on to a goshawk, and then eventually, after many, many years, this would be the pinnacle of what you're aiming for. But the equipment is the same on them all. So the equipment that's used is the very, very early parts of falconry. The most obvious part of the equipment is his hat, which is correctly termed a hood. And the hood is there purely to keep him calm. So it blindfolds him. And by blindfolding him, it takes away all of the distractions. So anything around him, he can't see. So that sort of understands, that stops that. He's got these braces here. What would we use those braces for, Ben?
Tightening and loosening the hood.
So, as Ben quite rightly says, we would undo the two short ones, and that would allow us to take the hood off. And then when we put the hood back on, we would do the two longer ones up. He's then got a little ring around his leg. It's a completely enclosed ring that's put on when he's a chick, and that's his identity ring. So that identity ring there stays with him for the rest of his life. And then the leather bits are called jesses. So he's got these wonderful jesses, and they're the bit that tether him and allow us to pick him up and control him. The jesses move down to a swivel, and the swivel comes down to a leash. And they're the parts that are all used for tethering him. And then it moves on to a perch that he's sat on. I've got a glove, and gloves are usually left-handed. Now that's historic, and the reason it's historic, do you know why?
Why? No.
Didn't you? Oh, sorry, I think you knew why. What would you like to say, Ben?
Majority of people are right-handed. So as you're left-handed, you would have the glove on your right hand. So basically you need your good hand, if you like, for tying knots, messing around with the equipment and things like that. So basically your bad hand is just sitting still holding the bird.
Oh, so I just have to use my right hand when I pick the bird.
When you pick him up, you'll pick him up on your left hand.
Oh.
That allows your right hand free. Now, Ben is quite right in saying that most people are right-handed, and that allows them to do that. Historically, why most people use it, there is another reason. Can you think several hundred years ago why you would need your right hand free, Angie?
For defense.
That's right, absolutely. So, your left hand is holding the bird, your right hand is for defence. So if you're taught sword fighting, you're always taught sword fighting with the right hand. Are you married, Isabella?
No.
Okay. If you were to get married and you were walking down the aisle, which side of the groom would you be on?
Left.
You'd be on the left-hand
Yeah.
side, and that's right. And that's so his sword can be used to protect you. So all these historic things go back, and it's also that your right hand is free to protect, to pick George up. What I'm going to do is just undo the leash and get it all loose. And once I've got it there, I can, between my thumb and forefingers, hold on to the jesses and then lift. And as I lift, you'll find that he will automatically step up, and then I can move him in as if I'm holding a cup of tea. So I'm keeping my hand upright and my arm close to my body like that.
Does he knows that you're holding him?
Yeah, he does. And if I put him back, he knows I'm putting him back down because I'm pressing his ankles back there, and he'll step back. Would you like to have a go as well? Angie, it's going to be really difficult for me to get you to have a go, but hopefully by watching Isabella, who's said that she's never done this before, then I have just washed my hands, so hopefully the glove is nice and clean for you. And, so if you put that on, I'll hold on to this side.
Okay.
Now before you just do that, he's got very sharp talons and he's got a very sharp beak. That glove's going to protect you from that, but the only health and safety piece that you need to be aware of is just make sure that he's not too close to your face.
Okay.
He's never going to bite you, but don't bring him too close to your face. So if you grasp hold of that there and then slowly lift up. Grasp hold of it with your thumb. Grasp hold of that. Okay. Well done. Brilliant. Have you got it?
Yeah.
So, would you hold a cup of tea like that?
So,
So if you move him down there, that's fantastic. So that's exactly what you would do there. What does that feel like?
it's good. I thought he was heavy, but he's not.
No, he's a bird, so birds have to fly. So all birds are light, so their bones are quite hollow and light. Okay. And if you move your hand down and put the back of his wrists there, that's brilliant. Excellent. Well done. Thank you, Isabella. That's good. Ben, would you like to have a go?
I'll make it. You can bring my glove.
So there's the glove. And what I want you to do, Ben, because I know you've done this before, so I'm going to leave that there. So if you can actually pick him up and go one stage further and actually show Isabella and Angie how you would attach him to the glove.
Right, okay. So once we have George, come on mate. There we go. What we'll do is we'll tie up. We'll keep that there so when we're tying a knot, what we're doing is we're keeping this in what's known as a safety position. So if I drop that, he still can't fly away, so I've got hold of him there. And if we're going to attach him to the glove to make sure that we don't have any holding him for prolonged periods of time, we'll slide through the D-ring, which is permanently attached to the glove here. You slide this leash down through there, and then tie what we know as a falconry knot, which everybody learns before they're allowed to pick up a bird, and then he's now secured there. So if you're holding him at a show, for example, for hours on end, you can hold him, you can relax because you start to get cramp in your fingers after an hour of holding him. So we can just relax now and not worry about this hand, and like Neil was saying, he's attached, so if I need to draw my sword to defend my fiancée, I can then use my right hand, you see. So that's him now attached there, and that's exactly the same system we would use to tie him to a perch or anything else we're tethering him to.
Excellent. Thank you, Ben. If you'd like to put him down. Angie and Isabella, you've got the sheets that you've been looking at. There's one part on there that I haven't shown you. Do you know what it is?
Is it this bit?
No, I think that's the perch, which is this bit here. So I think that's the perch that he's sitting on. Angie? Bells. Yeah, all birds of prey wear bells. George hasn't got a bell on at the moment, but I have brought a bell. So there's the bell, and they have a little lightweight bell, and that bell would be attached to his tail. But he's getting a brand new tail at the moment, so his old feathers are dropping out and his new feathers are growing. That's called molting. So during that period we've just taken his bell off. Is there anything else on the sheets that you haven't managed to find a home for? Is there anything you haven't filled in? Okay. Ben, I realise that you've done this before, but is there anything that you don't understand or anything that you'd like further clarification on as far as the equipment is concerned?
Are there different types of swivels? I've seen different types and different birds with regards to the design of them.
There's different types of swivels, and the different types of swivel are there for fashion as much as anything. There's D swivels, there's U swivels, there's Sampo swivels, there's all sorts of different types of swivel, but I guess with any hobby, whether that's paragliding or knitting, people try to develop equipment, and people are trying to develop equipment all of the time, but the swivel always does the same job, and what it's doing is stopping the leash becoming taffled up. So the two jesses are held there, but the swivel stops getting taffled up. So lots of different types of swivels, but they all do the same job. Isabella, is there anything you don't understand?
He needs to wear that hood all the time. Or...
No, we put the hood on for travelling, so it's there to
okay.
calm him down. So when we're moving him from A to B, then we pop the hood on. But when he's at home, then he doesn't have a hood on.
So what happens if you take it out right now?
If I take the hood off and he can see around, he just gets a little bit distracted by his surroundings, so he'll start flapping his wings. He won't get distressed, but he'll start flapping his wings and looking around, and he might start getting people distressed.
Oh, right, okay.
Doesn't make more mess, I think.
Angie,
I have no questions, thank you.
you've got no questions. Okay. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your attention while we've been going through that. Thank you for meeting George, and hopefully you won't go out and buy a bird of prey from your local pet shop later on this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.